Hello, everyone, and welcome to the University of Rhode Island Computer Science and Statistics. Installing Docker in an Ubuntu Linux server. So to download and install Docker, the first thing that you're going to need is you're definitely going to need to have what is known as your Linux server up and running, which many of you already have. So to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log into my Linux server. Once I have successfully logged in, I am going to do a sudo apt-get update because I want to make sure I update my Linux server to ensure that it has all the latest dependencies and patches updates, so that way all the repositories are up to date for installing Docker. From here, once I have everything up and running, I am going to run a sudo apt install docker.io. Okay, so from here, I'm going to say yes, I would like to install docker.io. And Docker is going to be installed on my system for me. Okay, so once I have successfully installed Docker, I would want to make sure that I test to see if Docker is running properly. And it might take some time to install Docker, so you will definitely want to allow for that to happen. And if you want, one of the things you can do is you can actually go to the Docker website and take a look at what Docker has to offer. So if you go to docker.com while the installation's happening, you can see and take a look at why Docker. You can look at the various products that Docker has to offer. You can look at solutions, various solutions that Docker has, resources. And with the resources, you can actually take a look at content library, open resources. You can take a look at documents that's available for getting started, how to develop with Docker, how to get started. And then from there, you can learn about containers, how to set up a container, and how to really kind of fully get everything up and running. So there's a lot of documents that's available for Docker. Once you have successfully get it up and running, you can take a look at samples, some samples that are there. Docker for beginners is definitely where I recommend that you guys go to take a look at some basic images that you can run and get started with using Docker. I definitely highly recommend that you go into the documentation and you do a little bit of reading to really understand what Docker is and how to get started with it and what it's utilized for. And here is a file that you can read to see how it works. Okay. From there, once we have Docker up and running, what I would like to do is do a sudo service docker.io status. And unit docker.io could not be found. Sudo service docker.io. Okay. We just installed Docker sudo service docker.io. Service. Okay. So let's just do Docker version to see why we are unable to start our Docker and get a good sense of what's running. So what we would need to do here is usually once you finish installing it, you could do again a sudo apt-get update to update your package one more time. Make sure it's all up and running. So we could do a sudo docker hello dash world. Oops. Sudo docker run hello dash world, which is one of the pre-built applications that Docker has in it. And once I run that, I can see hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. To generate this message, Docker took the following steps, and it actually explains to you exactly what it did. Share images, automate workflows. So my Docker is running. So I can actually come in here and do Docker status. Okay, so let's do Docker -- help to see what we can and can't do. So let's see, run a command in a new container. We don't want to do that yet. Event, export, search, save, top, version. So let's do a Docker -- version to see what version of Docker we're running. So we see that we're running Docker version 4. Let's see if a group was created for our Docker file. So we could do a sudo group add Docker, and since the group was created already, we should get that that this group already exists. Yes, so the group Docker already exists. So we were able to successfully download and install Docker. So the last thing that we definitely want to do is we want to take a look at the package that our Docker currently has in it. So let's do a sudo dpkg to take a look at the file dash query. We want to see -l docker.io. Oops, too much dots. The keyboard's been kicking too much on me. So here we could see all of the files that Docker basically came downloaded with. If we wanted to take a look at that, so we could see, and let's do a less so we can definitely see all of it. Cancel that. And Rosie less already exists. We didn't want to add a group. All right. So what we wanted to see was the package. So we would do less. Okay. So here is all of the packages that came installed with our Docker. So we can actually explore this to see what is currently running as far as services in our Docker file. So that is how you would essentially install and set up Docker in your Linux operating system. Thank you for watching.